Hello, good morning. Good afternoon because we changed the time of this one. So thank you so much for being flexible today with our live stream. This is Ask a Clutter Boss, the internet's best decluttering advice show. It was changed from 11:30 to 1:30 today because I had a lot of things, a lot of appointments and overlap and craziness today, but that's okay. Sometimes that happens. We are here though, and I have a great show for you guys today. If you are joining us live, please say hello in the comments. If you're here on replay, give us a hashtag replay. And if you have a question that you would like answered, let me know in the comments also. I have two topics, kind of broad topics for today that I'm really actually excited to talk about. One of them, hello, Jan. The first one is quick wins that you can do anytime to give yourself a little boost of motivation, a little head start, a little, okay, I've got some control here. So that's number one, quick wins that you can do anytime that you're feeling busy. And the second one is how does mom guilt or just guilt in general fuel clutter? Very interesting. Something I've been thinking about and dwelling on an awful lot. Sheila, Jen, Emily, Denise, Jan, DA, Cheryl, good morning. Good morning. So, we're going to talk first about quick wins that can help you get ahead or at least feel ahead when life gets busy. Good morning, Yelena. Good morning, Sammy. So nice to see you here. All right. Quick wins. They're small actions that give you immediate results and real relief, and they can give you that little boost of motivation. I also find in my personal life, a quick decluttering win or a quick organizing win or a quick system habit win really helps me get a sense of control. So when I walk into into my home and there's chaos and it feels overwhelming, I have in my toolbox, my decluttering toolbox, a couple of things that I can do to start to feel control over the space again. And in case you missed last week, we did talk about how our brains operate in a cluttered environment. And when we walk into chaos or clutter or just confusion, actually our brains start to feel confused also. And the reason that our brains feel confused in chaos is because we visually process our environment searching for anything that might be unsafe. That's our primal brain, hard at work all the time, keeping you alive. So when you walk into your home and there's a lot of chaos, your brain is immediately turning on that visual processing and looking for the threat. Now, in our modern world, usually, usually there's not a tiger in our house. There's no actual threat to our life. And because there's so many things that we're taking in visually, it's really confusing to prioritize what is threatening, what is not threatening, and just what should I tackle first. So I have noticed since I've been studying this and really thinking about it, it's really obvious to me when I walk into my house and there are lots of things piled on the counter. There's a sink full of dishes. There's a pile of laundry. There's shoes scattered everywhere. It's not just that I'm annoyed or frustrated at the situation. It's that my nervous system is starting to react. I am, without even recognizing it, I'm subconsciously feeling overwhelmed, confused. It's just chaotic. It's just too much. And for a long time, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know how to deal with it. I would get annoyed with my family. I would feel frustrated. I would feel like I'm the only person who takes care of this stuff, which is actually not true. But in that moment, it was too much for me to process. Since I understand more about our nervous system and our brains and how they all work, I have developed different things that I can do that are really routine and they're habits now. So when I walk in the door and I start to feel overwhelmed, I know exactly my top 5 things that I can start to do to regain a sense of control over my environment, which actually is going to calm down my nervous system. So it's really important that we have this quote unquote tool bag that we can reach into and just have a couple of activities that we can do, a couple of tasks that we can do to quickly regain that sense of control. Does that make sense? All right, I'm going to take that as a yes. Here are, we'll call them quick wins to regain a sense of control over your environment. The first thing that I think is so important when I'm feeling overwhelmed in my house is I look at dishes and laundry. Dishes and laundry, the two big ones, right? So, number one, can I process through our dishes and get it so there are dishes zero? There are no dirty dishes needing to be dealt with. Can I get to dishes zero? Usually, dishes are one of those things that they look like, it looks like when you have dishes, it's going to take a long time to deal with the dishes, but dishes actually take less time than you think. So, and I would encourage you to, gather data around this. Go ahead and set a timer. How long does it take you to unload your dishwasher? How long does it take you to wash the dishes? Is there something you can do to make this process go faster? Sometimes, and this is true with laundry also, sometimes we feel like we have to hand wash certain things. Can you put everything into the dishwasher? I put literally everything into the dishwasher. I put all of my nice plates, like the ones that I have inherited from my great grandmother. I put we have like a set of silver that I also inherited from a great aunt. I put that all into the dishwasher. I don't hand wash anything. Well, I don't hand wash very much at all. And it's not that I use that stuff all the time, but just in general, can you put stuff into the dishwasher without hand washing it? Can you make this easier and faster for yourself? But doing dishes is not as time consuming as it looks. So when we're visually processing our environment, our kitchen, and it looks like it's going to take a long time to get through the dishes, I guarantee it's going to take longer than you are anticipating, or it's going to take shorter than you're anticipating. It's going to take shorter than it feels. So doing the dishes is a really good first step. So when I walk through the door and oh, Mary, I'm going to get to that. When I walk through the door and the kitchen, I walk into my kitchen. That's typically how I enter my house. The kitchen is a mess. If I can get those dishes done and wipe out the sink, it is instantly going to feel so much better. My nervous system is going to start to get rebalanced and I'm going to feel more control over my environment. Usually, I can get through my dishes in 10 or 15 minutes max. I can unload my dishwasher in about 3.5 minutes, and then the rest is just gathering up all the dirty dishes, popping them into the dishwasher, putting whatever away I need to. So, number one, take care of dishes. That's just if you're feeling overwhelmed, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do, start with dishes. The second big one is laundry. Laundry is a mountain of frustration all the time. I want to so strongly encourage you to number one, reduce the amount of clothing that you have in your house, reduce the amount of linens that you have in your house. The more you have of anything that can be washed, the more volume you have, the more your laundry can pile up and the more stressful it can feel. So, one way to tackle a mountain of laundry is to simply own less. And even if you love clothing and love fabrics and love linens, owning less is going to mean that you can never possibly have that much laundry. When you have a capsule wardrobe, when you have a tiny wardrobe, you simply can't have that much laundry because you actually need to wash the clothing so you can wear it. I used to have so much clothing. I had bins of clothing in my attic. My kids had so much clothing. They had more clothing than fit into their dressers and closets. I would store their clothing underneath their beds in like pull out plastic bins. They had so much clothing. I had so much clothing. There were times where laundry was a 2-day process to get through all of the laundry. Today, now where I am on my decluttering journey, I am never more than 2 loads away from a completely laundry zero situation. And laundry zero means there is no laundry outstanding. There is no laundry outstanding. The laundry is washed, it is dried, and it is put away. And I am never more than 2 loads away from laundry zero because I have reduced so much that I can't possibly have that much laundry. Yes. The more I used to think if I had enough clothing, I wouldn't have to do the laundry as frequently. But what that actually meant is I had to do so much more laundry whenever it came time to do the laundry. So when you walk through the door and you need a quick win to feel control over your space or to just, rebalance your nervous system, do the dishes and do a load of laundry. And don't just put the laundry into the basket, actually put it away. Like have an empty basket. An empty basket is the goal. So dishes and laundry, two big ones that you can immediately do, small tasks that you can immediately do to start to regain that sense of control when your life is busy and you're feeling overwhelmed. All right, another one, a rule that I live by that makes so much difference, and that is the 5-minute rule. Does anybody know what the 5-minute rule is? And if you've worked with me, you probably do. All right, the 5-minute rule. If you can do it in 5 minutes or less, do it immediately. Do not put off tasks that are going to take you less than 5 minutes. You're going to put it off and put it off. The longer you put off a task, the more of your energy it is stealing from you. You have this in the back of your mind. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. I don't want to do this. I'm putting this off. You're feeling guilty for putting it off. We're going to talk about guilt in a second. If you can do something in 5 minutes or less, do it right away. Do not delay. Do not pick up your phone. Do not start scrolling the internet. Do the task that's taking less than 5 minutes right now. Sorting your mail, less than 5 minutes. Just sort it, throw it out, get rid of the stuff that you don't need. Anything that you can do in 5 minutes or less, do it right now. Make that phone call. So you have to make an appointment, a doctor's appointment. That's probably a 5-minute or less task. Do the 5-minute things right away. We don't need to add to our future to-do list with things that we can tackle right now. Be proactive. That's right, Casey. If you can do it in 5 minutes or less, just get it done. Unload the dishwasher, switch the laundry. I mean, these are all 5-minute things. Reset a surface. If you can get your surfaces down to zero, resetting a surface should not take longer than 5 minutes. And when I say down to zero, I mean zero things that don't belong on that surface. And actually, that's another quick tool that you can do when you're feeling stressed. Reset a surface. The whole premise of the work that we do is getting our spaces to a zero things that don't belong, because resetting them and maintaining them is so much easier when things are at a 0 point. When you start with a blank canvas and there's only the things that belong in that space, if something gets dropped there, if something gets left there, if it gets dusty, if it gets dirty, if something gets spilled on it, we are 5 minutes away from that reset surface every single time. So we always work really hard, declutter and organize until there's nothing left that doesn't belong, and then maintain that space. And maintaining that space does not take that long if you're starting from like new. Does that make sense? Okay. The last one that I have that really sets me up for success when I don't have a lot of time. When I have a busy week, this is actually a busy week. As you have seen, our live stream today was delayed because I have more appointments than usual this week. There's more going on with my kids' sports schedules. There's just more. This is a week of more. In the past, a week of more meant so many things did not get done. But today, I know that when I have a week of extras, I need to really dial in my habits and routines so that I am extra prepared and not extra behind. So we're going to go with extra prepared instead of extra behind. Extra prepared means that at night, I am going to get ready for the next day. I'm going to look at my schedule. I'm going to lay out my clothing. I'm going to set everything as it needs to be. I'm going to know what's for breakfast. I'm going to have the coffee ready to go. I'm going to take an extra couple of minutes in the evening to make sure that the start of my next day goes really well, because if my day can start off on a good note, it can usually flow so much better. So when I have a week of extra, I am not going to set myself up for failure by doing less, I'm going to give it extra attention so that I am not extra behind. Right? Right. Okay. Let's just make sure that I did not miss anything here. The whole point with these quick wins is they're not going to solve your problem, all your problems, but they're going to help you get momentum, help you regain control of your space, and help you reset your nervous system. So I'm curious, of those quick wins, which one kind of resonates with you the most? Let me know in the comments. And now we're going to move on to talking about mom guilt or just guilt in general and how that perpetuates the cycles of clutter. Notes number 2. I've been trying to be extra prepared for these live streams, so lots of notes these days. Okay, so one of the biggest reasons that we have a lot of stuff in our homes today is not laziness, it's guilt. Guilt is driving clutter. And I wanted to unpack this and have a real honest conversation about how guilt can drive clutter. If I'm saying this and you're having like an aha, or you're already coming up with oh, this is how guilt is driving my clutter, please let me know in the comments. One super obvious way that guilt drives clutter is when we hang on to something because we feel guilty letting it go. We may feel guilty because it was a gift. We may feel guilty because we have the thing and other people have less than we do. And so it feels guilty to not use it and just toss it out or just let it go. We may feel guilty and hang on to stuff because we don't want to degrade the environment anymore. There's so many reasons obvious reasons around guilt that we may hang on to things, but that guilt is actually creating a vicious clutter cycle. First off, when we hang on to things because we feel guilty, we're not having a positive interaction with that stuff in our homes. We're seeing it and we're instantly feeling bad. We're feeling guilty. We're feeling negative feelings. You're choosing that. So when you hang on to stuff because you feel guilty, you're also choosing to then have a relationship with that item that feels negative every single time you see it or think about it in the future. And when we have guilt and we're hanging on to stuff, we're hanging on to clutter. We are perpetuating the clutter cycle. We are keeping the clutter in our house. Keeping clutter in our house maintains a cluttered environment. And the work that we do, decluttering, is so that we can live in a space that is lifting us up and supporting us as much as possible every day. So guilt keeps you holding on to stuff in all sorts of ways. Guilt also can make us overbuy. So when we have children, especially, and we feel guilty that we're not spending enough time with them, we tend to compensate, and this can go for grandchildren also. We tend to compensate and overcompensate by buying. And this is a really insidious way that guilt is compromising our living environments by bringing in more clutter. Of course, I am guilty of this one too. When you are working and you have kids and you're trying to do it all, it's very easy to feel badly about a situation. Like maybe because you had to work, you couldn't show up to your kids' sporting event or during the day concert, or you couldn't be the surprise reader in their classroom, and you purchase them something to make them feel better because you feel guilty. This is a really interesting connection between mom guilt specifically, or grandma guilt, and clutter. Guilt also stops us from asking for help, which is just crazy. So as moms, as wives, as daughters, we are raised with this belief that we can do it all. And not only that we can do it all, but we should do it all. We should not have to hire a cleaning service because we should be able to clean our own homes. We tend to, and that's just like the classic example. When we are not asking for help because we feel like we should be doing it all, we are exacerbating the clutter in our lives because we're cluttering up our schedules. We're just cluttering up our lives with activities and responsibilities that we don't necessarily need to carry. Um, yeah, sorry, I was just looking at the comments here. It's and Denise, honestly, having no guilt is something you have to definitely work on. It's not something that comes easily or naturally. We're too embarrassed to ask for help, too embarrassed. We feel guilty about our living environment, right? We feel guilty about the clutter or embarrassed about the clutter or ashamed about the clutter, so we don't ask for help. In all of these ways, guilt is contributing to the clutter cycle. Okay. Oh, here is another really good one. Guilt keeps us from letting go of unrealistic expectations. So we see social media posts. We feel guilty that our life does not look like the life we're seeing on social media. And because of that guilt, we get stuck exactly where we are. We have unrealistic expectations about how our homes should look and the activities we should be doing, and that guilt keeps us from moving forward in so many different ways. It it's a reason that we hold on to stuff, because if I get to the end of my decluttering, I'm gonna want this beautiful box or, these labels or whatever it is to make my pantry look Pinterest worthy. It's such a weird, interesting modern phenomenon that we are constantly comparing ourselves and our lives and our homes to other people, usually people who we have never ever met. And of course, none of it is real. We're only seeing a small little snippet of reality on social media. And that is holding us stuck in place. Let me tell you, nobody actually has a pantry like you see on Instagram or Pinterest. It's impossible to maintain that. That's you may have it for a second, but you don't have it for the long term. Nobody actually has the life that you think they have. How many influencers have you followed? Maybe you followed influencers looking for marriage advice only to find out that they have a terrible marriage and they're getting divorced. Or maybe you have followed influencers because they give great parenting advice only to find out that they're terrible parents and they're being arrested for neglect. I mean, nothing is as it seems. And the best thing that we can do is to declutter our social media. I'm pretty much in the frame of mind now that social media is just contributing to so many negatives in our homes, in our lives, in our thoughts. Um, it's all not real. And yet we're comparing ourselves to this completely unrealistic expectation. My guilt is destroying books that somebody else might use. Mary, so as a former librarian, I can tell you that there are millions of copies of books, thousands of copies of every book, and digital copies as well. While it's true that somebody might use a book, they also, the fact that you are letting go of that book or that you are recycling that book doesn't take away their ability to find that information or to read that book. We put a tremendous emphasis on our things, like, I am the keeper of this information, but actually, it's just our book, and that's why it feels bad. The information is widely available. Does that help at all? Oh, here's another okay. When we have guilt, we're in a cycle. It creates this overwhelm cycle. So we feel guilty that we have so much stuff, but because we feel guilty that we have so much stuff, we feel guilty letting go of this stuff, and then we just kind of get stuck. We keep clutter and guilt just keep us really, really stuck. I think that that's the bottom line of the clutter and guilt conversation. It keeps us stuck. And when we have guilt impacting our decisions, impacting the environment that we live in, it's so hard to move forward. So what can we do? Ooh, the statute of limitations on guilt has expired. I love that, Sammy. I love that. What can we do when we start feeling guilty? I think the number one question that has helped me is, what does my family really need? And if I'm in a situation where I'm feeling bad because I missed something that my kids did, or I'm feeling bad because I work so much, I know that what my kids actually need is me to be present, not me to purchase them something. And when I stop and ask myself what really benefits my family right now, it's a lot easier to let go of any of those guilty feelings. So that's a really powerful question that I can ask. And I think really anyone can ask that. What does my family need in this moment? Is it more stuff or is it something else? Is it action? Is it experience? Is it just sitting together and eating dinner? What does my family need right now? And what's going to benefit my family most in the future? Yes, awareness is absolutely the first step towards change. So that's the question that's helped me a lot with the guilt. And just recognizing my motivation for this is coming from a place of guilt, not a place of acceptance, not a place of moving forward in life. It's coming from a place of guilt. And is that what I want to be driving the bus? No, no, it is not. So figure out how to get out of that point of guilt and into the driver's seat of your own life. Now, there were a lot of questions in here, so I'm going to scroll back and go through the comments. Mary, I just finally destroyed a box of old police report copies from 1988 to 1991. Nice work, Mary. That is awesome. That's truly awesome. Um, there was another question back in here. Okay, I'm looking for permission to tear out of cookbooks, to tear pages out of cookbooks, then tossing the books. So here is your permission. If you want to tear some pages out of cookbooks and then toss the books, you can do that. We have never had access to so many recipes as we do right now. Hanging on to the cookbook or donating the cookbook is the information is so widely available. I mean, widely available. If you search for anything recipe wise on the internet, you're going to come up with thousands and thousands and thousands of recipes that match what you have. You can take a picture of your pantry and put it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to generate a menu for you for the week. Our cookbooks are, if we're not using them, they're sentimental, but they're definitely not a repository of information that is not duplicated 1,000 times over someplace else. So yes, tear those pages out and then recycle those cookbooks and just be proud of yourself for making a decision that is based in reason and not based in emotion. All right. This has been another wonderful Ask a Clutter Boss. If you are new around here and you've never been to our weekly free workshop, please go ahead and join us. Go to try.clutterboss.com. Our Beyond Decluttering workshop is where we talk about what it takes to actually declutter, and it's not your average everyday advice. The behind the scenes of we see our clients needing the most after working with thousands of women and helping them go from chaos to calm. Oh, you are so welcome, Kesey. It's so nice to see you here. I wish you all so much success this week. Remember, let's be the drivers of our own life here. Don't let fear, don't let guilt, don't let overwhelm drive the bus anymore. Use the tools that you have and take little steps forward. Gain control over small spaces, and it adds up to a huge difference. I believe in you. I know you can do this. And I look forward to chatting again really soon. Bye, everyone.